In the previous Woe to You Religion video, we read the ancient writer's portrayal of Jesus' introduction to the problem of religion. Jesus is depicted as saying religion calls upon tradition as its authority. Religious leaders adopt lofty titles and set themselves apart with elaborate clothing. They burden their followers and practice religion without any regard to this burden religion creates. In this video, the ancient writer continues his portrayal of Jesus' warnings concerning religion. Jesus' followers were reportedly known as people of the way. The ancient writer depicts Jesus as saying, in essence, if religion wants to pave the way for people of the way, religious leaders must first be followers of the way themselves. The ancient writer has Jesus saying, "But the greatest among you shall be your servant. And whoever exalts oneself shall be humbled, and whoever humbles oneself shall be exalted." Religion's need to exalt itself defeats its stated purpose, to serve. I cannot be at the same time the revered one and have this way about me. It is contradictory. Either I love public affirmation or I feel content, humble by the treasure of the changed attitude developing in me. I yearn for my parishioners' validation, or I am comfortable in my own skin. Either I am anxious to be noticed, or I want to be a genuine, non-anxious presence for others. You can have this way about you only if you get your mind off the messenger and onto the message. The message speaks most profoundly to your way of being. Jesus' statement conveys the humility necessary to be people of the way. Then the ancient writer has Jesus persisting in his contiguous line of thought with illustrations of how the practice of religion shuts off the way to be. Though there appears to be 8 of them, these illustrations are known as the 7 woes. The ancient writer's words attributed to Jesus are more than poignant. In each woe, the ancient writer has Jesus accusing religion of play acting. The first woe refers directly to this kingdom of heaven, found within people of the way. Each woe employs the same opening phrase, "Woe to you, religion, hypocrites." But woe to you, religion, hypocrites, because you shut off the kingdom of heaven from others, for you do not enter in yourselves, nor do you allow those who are entering to go in. We hinder ourselves from being in the way until our religion gets out of the way. We mix an abundance of religious practice with a smattering of the way to be, obstructing the way. Jesus purportedly accuses religion of an innate inability to do as it says do. The writer follows with woes that illustrate religion's hypocritical inabilities. He has Jesus accusing religion of being callous. Woe to you, religion, hypocrites, because you devour widows' houses, even while for a pretense you make long prayers. Therefore you shall receive greater condemnation. One temptation as a minister has been to employ health, wealth, and guilt to solicit effort and assets from parishioners regardless of their personal hardships. The statement, "you must give sacrificially," is calloused. The way helps me see the limitation on myself that I am indeed poor in spirit without spiritual knowledge. Making promises in the name of some supernatural being is unethical. I should not deliver some sort of religious IOU. Religion fails in its primary responsibility. From a pulpit, I dare not tout the miraculous doing of ancient persons, historical or mythical, as examples of how, if one had faith to work in religion, one's circumstances in life would be all better. Or if one had faith to give abundantly to religion, one's finances would likewise be somehow favored. People of the way find a way to be content in whatever circumstances they find themselves. I should be thankful for the provision that comes my way, but I cannot establish quid pro quo with some supernatural force. It rains on those religion labels as bad people, and it rains on those religion labels as good people. Life goes on for everyone, and it goes on naturally, without supernatural intervention. As a minister, a friend to religion, I have not always done well to take care in teaching the way of being and let doing naturally follow. My zeal for stuffed staff and the Sunday morning ritual has tempted others away from responsibilities of employment and family. Religion makes long public pleas while devouring even the widow's house. Parishioners write checks of time and money they cannot cash to meet religious obligation they do not owe. As a minister, I have sometimes delivered the bill. Next, the writer has Jesus continuing with the futility of religious process. Woe to you, religion hypocrites, because you travel about on sea and land to make one proselyte. And when that person becomes one, you make that one twice as much a child of hell as yourselves. Religion searches far and wide for adherents. The more religion attracts, the more labor and financial resources religion has to devour. Memories of my own work in religious institutions haunt me. The vast majority of all religious budgets were allocated to the buildings, the utilities, the staff, and mostly me. Most of the emotional suffering I witnessed in religious leadership was over control of the precious little remaining finances. Have I taught parishioners to value ownership over relationship? Have I taught them to be gentle, to be people of the way? I remember in a board meeting, 2 women argued so vehemently over whether to buy loaf bread and cold cuts or to purchase pre-made sandwiches. Each of them had crocodile tears flowing down their cheeks. In another religious setting, 2 men were so obsessed about the cost of heating, they became combative over 3 or 4 degrees on the thermostat. One of the most profound examples of valuing ownership over relationship came just before I began as pastor in still another setting. A minority group of parishioners so opposed the construction of a family life center, they ran off the majority who gave to build it. Then, in protest of its existence, the surviving leaders bound the push bars of its double doors with padlocks and chains. When I began my work with them, even the electricity had been cut off in protest of a building. Just as the kingdom of heaven is Jesus' figure of speech for the way of contentment, a child of hell is Jesus' figure of speech for the way of torment. The closer newcomers, proselytes, get to the central working of religion, the less enchanted they become. They come looking for contentment, whether they understand the metaphorical kingdom of heaven or not. Religion attracted them with a selfish feeling. In exchange for their time and money, religion offered them spiritual music, participation in public liturgy, and public prayers. Religion helped them to be seen and heard by each other as religious. Then religion gave them hell.